Hello friends, in this lecture, we're going to create the arena. Okay, so here inside of the textures folder, we have three different textures that we're going to use to create the arena. These are the background, the map, and the wall. We're going to put these on top of each other to create the arena. The arena is simply the background graphics that we're going to have in the game. So first of all, we need to create some sprites from these textures. Since in this game we're going to have way more sprites compared to the first game, we need to organize the sprites folder a little bit better. This is because we have these sprite sheets in the game now. So for example, let's open this one up. And as you can see, from this single texture, we're going to create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sprites. And like I said, because of that, we're going to have a lot of sprites. So inside of the sprites folder here, let's create a separate folder for the arena sprites. Let's call it arena. Let's go back into the textures folder. We're going to pick all of these arena textures. So let's click on the first one, hold down Control, click on the second one and the third one. And then we're going to right click on one of them, go into sprite actions and create sprite. That's going to create sprites. We're going to pick the sprite. So let's click on the first one, hold down Control, click on the last one. Left click hold, drag these into the arena folder on the left here, and we're going to click on move. And now we have all the sprites we need here inside of this folder. Perfect. The next step is going to be creating a blueprint for the arena. So in the content folder, we're going to create a new folder called blueprints. In the blueprints folder, we're going to right click again, create a blueprint class. This is going to be an actor. We're going to call it blueprint underscore arena. Since the arena is not going to have any code inside of it, we don't need to create a C++ class. A simple blueprint class is going to do fine. Let's open this up. Here in the blueprint, we're going to create the sprites. We can go into the content drawer, into the arena folder and just drag these in like we've been doing so far in the course. Or we can also create the sprite components here in the blueprint. So let's click on the scene root here and let's click on add, and then we're going to do a search for sprites. Let's pick the paper sprite. We're going to name this background, just like that. So this is just another way of creating a sprite inside of the blueprint. I'm just doing it that way to show you a different way. We're going to duplicate this, so right click on it, click on duplicate and call it walls, duplicate it again and call it the map. Just like that. And now we need to set the source sprite for each one of these. For the map, it's going to be the map. For the walls, it's going to be the walls. Not very difficult. For the background, it's going to be the background. Perfect. Let's make sure we're looking at this from the right angle. The red arrow is looking to the right and Z is looking up. Perfect. And now we see the same problem we saw in the first game. The Z fighting or the sorting issues. This is happening because all of these sprites are at the same Y position. So fixing this is going to be your challenge. Okay, so go ahead and fix the sorting problem. I'm not going to give you any tips because you've seen me do this so many times in the first section. You should be able to fix this like that. The only thing I'll say is that you saw two different ways of fixing the same problem. You can use any one of them. You don't need to use one of the other. With that being said, give it a shot and come back when you're done. Okay, so the two different ways we can solve this is, first of all, using the translucent material, and the second way is using a different Y position. If you used any one of them, it's fine. You don't need to change it. I will be fixing it with the translucent material. So let's check if all of them have the same material. Currently, this one has the masked material. Walls here seems to have the translucent material, so we can just leave that. And the background also has the masked. So I'm going to pick the background, hold down Control, pick the map. Once I have both of them selected, I'm going to go into the materials here and do a search for translucent, unlit, sprite material. Perfect. Now we're going to change the sort orders. So the background is going to be the one in the furthest back. So for this one, I'm going to place it at -10. Let's go into the rendering settings, open up advanced, scroll down. Here is the sort priority. We're going to set this to be -10, just like that. For background elements, I like using negative numbers. That's why I always have negative numbers for things like this. The second one is going to be the map. We're going to say -9 for that. And the last one is going to be the walls. This is going to be -8, just like that. And this is the look that the game arena is going to have. Perfect. Next up, we're going to turn off collision for these. So let's pick all of them. Pick the first one, hold down shift, pick the last one. And then we're going to go into the collision settings here and set the preset to be no collision. Perfect. And there isn't anything else I want to do here. We can take a look at this from the right viewing angle as well to see what it looks like. Let's turn off the grid, just like that. Okay, I think it's looking good. So let's save this, compile it, go back into the level, and let's drag this into the scene. Let's go ahead and reset the position. And then let's go to it, like that. Currently, we're looking at this from the wrong angle. As you can see, the arrow is looking to the left, so I'm going to switch positions like that. We can also switch to the right viewing angle if we wanted to here. Of course, we need to set the view mode to lit here. And then I'm also gonna turn off the grid. And it's gonna look like this. Okay, so finally in this lecture, I'm going to create a camera. Since in this game, we're not going to move the camera, the entirety of the game is going to take place here. We don't need to place the camera into the character's blueprint. We can just have it here inside of the level. So let's go ahead and click on this Place Actors menu, go to All Classes. Here we have a camera actor. We're going to left click hold and drag this into the scene just like that. Let's reset the location. And then we're going to move it to the side from the y-axis just like that. Maybe about 200, just like that. The distance is not going to matter because we're going to turn this into an orthographic camera in a second. So let's go ahead and rotate this. I'm going to click on the E key and rotate this 90 degrees, -90 degrees, just like that. And then we're going to set the projection mode here to be orthographic so that we have a 2D camera instead of a perspective or a 3D camera. We're going to set the width for the camera to be 640. That's going to be enough to show the whole game, as you can see from the preview here. And we're also going to automatically enable the camera. So let's scroll down a little. And we're going to set auto activate for player to be player 0, just like that. Now we can play the game. And as you can see, the camera is activated, it's being used, and it's showing the game arena. And like I said, the entire game is going to be held inside of this grassy area here, the map texture. The player isn't going to be able to go away from these walls. These walls will be, the limits of the game. Perfect. One problem with having the camera actor here is, if you switch to the right viewing angle, which I like to do all the time, we can see the camera mesh here and it's very annoying, as you can see. So one way to fix this is to click on the camera actor, go to the scale settings, and scale this down to be very small. So let's turn on this lock here, and we're going to set the scale to be 0.01. That's going to make the camera tiny, as you can see. In fact, we can zoom in, and you can see it right here. And this is exactly what we want. And the good thing is, scaling the camera down doesn't affect the way it works. We can still play the game, and as you can see, everything is shown correctly. We get this black circle here, and that's because we have a default pawn in the game. You can actually click on the game here and use the arrow keys to control it. And don't worry about this isn't anything important. We're going to fix this as soon as we have a game mode, or even when we create the character, this should be gone. So this isn't a problem, but as you can see, we can still see the game even with the camera scaled down. Perfect. That fixes that annoying issue. And with that, we're going to end this lecture, so let's do a recap. In this one, we created the background graphics, which is the arena. For this, first of all, we created sprites here in the textures folder. Inside of the sprites folder, we created a separate folder for the arena, and that's because we're going to have a lot of sprites in this game. Then we created the blueprint for the arena, and inside of the blueprint, we created 3 different sprite components, gave them the source sprites, and then ordered them using the translucent unlit sprite material. That was your challenge. If you ordered them using the Y position, that's also fine. Then inside of the main level, we placed down the arena, and then finally we created a camera actor and configured it.